What is up, everyone? We are doing things a little more different today, but that's a-okay. So what's going to happen is I'm going to introduce y'all to INIT Party. Today, we had lovely Jacqueline Biggin produce a wonderful show earlier this morning that kind of highlights what our past year was like. Now, today, since we're about a couple hours after that, we want to make sure that we all get to be included in some fun. So what I'm doing is I will recap via video. It will be not as well edited as Wonderful Jack's, but then we will have Ayush hop on and interview some amazing hackers to recap how great this past season was. Okay, so without further ado, welcome to the INIT Afterparty.
God, it's the word about Ryan Swift.
Oh my god, stop.
Yeah, no, not bad. The other one. The other word.
Sad?
Old.
Oh my god, I guess dad. I really hope he's not watching.
Please do not tell Ryan Swift that.
LH gang, I love the initiative here. We'll get this one other guild's message in here just to balance things out.
There is cow language. And now chat has decided that you are all cows. I see how it is. I see how it is.
Drainboy asks, where can I get a blahage?
hackp.ac/blahage. It will go to your local IKEA store.
RIP headphone users once more, but that's okay. That's alright.
Sounds like everybody wants to hear it. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can make this work. Up.
For the past 15 months, we as hackers have been able to experience what it's like to hack digitally. This past year, I've made more online friends in my teenage life than when I was 12 and on Tumblr. I feel like that's not appropriate. I don't know if it is, like, put it on there. If you're someone a part of the hacking community, which if you're watching this, you are. See that? I broke the fourth wall. If you're watching this, you are. So make sure that you take the next opportunity to go to a digital hackathon, because soon we'll go back to in-person, and who knows if we'll have all the beautiful opportunities that we've had this time around.
Hi everyone, I'm Tiffany from LH gang.
Hello everyone, my name is Ashwin Kumar Uppala. I'm a hacker from India.
Everyone, my name's Nicholas. You can also call me Nico or Mr. Sin on Discord.
Hi everyone, I'm Bailey, a hacker based out of Canada.
Hey everyone, this is Ahli Bhattacharya from India.
Hi, I'm Annie.
Hey, I'm Johnny.
And we were the old co-chairs of RU Hacks 2021.
We have seen a lot of really, really cool stuff.
The coolest thing we saw at our event, I think we actually have the same thing.
So they were called Accessilearn VR, and it was really cute. I really like the cutesy style.
I really liked it, yeah.
Yeah, so our first place winner this year, Accessilearn, once again, was just awesome, and I really enjoyed seeing it.
Everyone, my name's Aaron. I'm a European coach here based in the UK.
Bhubaneswar, India. Hello everyone, I am Pratham Mishra from Jamshedpur, Jharkhand.
I'm Neem and I'm a hacker from India. Everyone, hope you're all doing well. I am Aditya Obrai, a student tech community and hackathon enthusiast from India. I have to say that this last hackathon season has been one of the most different but special seasons that I have ever had the opportunity to be a part of.
Okay. Well, first off, I just want to say that was a really, really good video. Not video. I don't know who's cutting onions. It was very close to me shedding a tear privately, but I can't really show you all that when there's a decent amount of people watching. But with that all being said, I am going to be introducing a couple great friendos here who are just going to let us know about what their experience was like during INIT and what their hackathon experience was like with MLH. So I'm going to first introduce Rico. You good to come on? Thumbs up? Sounds good. Hello.
Hey, hello. Good morning from India.
Good evening from the US, near East Coast. So it is currently evening time. How you been? How's INIT for you?
It's been great actually. It's my first hackathon type event. Sorry about that.
No worries. So what is that like for you then? I mean, that's awesome to hear. We always absolutely love hearing like new people join the event. So
it's been amazing so far.
What are your thoughts and how many friends have you made? What guild are you part of?
Blahaj gang. It's there in my.
Yes, I don't know where I got that, where I could have figured that one out from. But what are your thoughts about Blahaj gang? Why'd you even join Blahaj gang?
The vibe of Blahaj gang took me from Cypher X to Blahaj gang. Actually, I was in Cypher X and then I changed to Blahaj gang.
Oh, when did you change then? Was it like right before you started?
It was during INIT, like day one before it started.
So it started and then you were like, okay, the guild I'm in right now is kind of boring. I'm just going to leave.
Yes.
How did you even find out about it?
Actually, I knew about Major League Hacking since last year. I wanted to join, but since I was working, I didn't have much time to attend MLH events.
I see. Okay, well, we are glad to have you. And with that being said, we do have another amazing guest joining us who I don't think is as new as you. Are you good to join, Michael? Thumbs ups? Sounds good. All right, we're going to have 3 people and we're going to do this podcast style with a video. Hello.
Hey, Michael.
Here we go. Doing well.
How's
another
your
Blahaj ganger
so far? What'd you say?
Said another Blahaj ganger.
Are you Blahaj gang as well?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Oh.
So is this your first like MLH experience, or how long have you been part?
No, I actually did Boston Hacks in person back in 2018, right after I finished boot camp, and then took part in Local Hack Day Share.
That's pretty cool. So after 2018, what what made you decide to do like MLH all the way up in 2021?
Well, part of it was back then it was a little more geared specifically towards traditional college students, so it was harder to get into some of the in-person hackathons. And then I actually did get a job in coding for a while. So
that's pretty cool. And then how'd you hear about MLH again?
Well, actually, and it's part of why I asked Mara to come on here, because my past year was probably a lot different than a lot of y'all's, and not just because I might be a smidge older than a few of you. But I was diagnosed with cancer back in the beginning of October.
Oh, wow.
And then because it was 2020 and one life-threatening condition wasn't enough, had a heart attack right before New Year's, which I mentioned, not trying to get sympathy or anything like that, but I came out with some lessons from that. But along the way, my tumor was actually in my leg. So for about 6 months, I couldn't really sit or stand comfortably. So I didn't literally code a character. And then I started to feel a little bit better and got an email about one of Jack's technical interviewing webinars.
Oh.
And so that was literally my first time back to coding for, like I said, for about half a year. And she was awesome, but in some ways it was terrifying because she sent us out to Replit for our first exercise. And then I just sat there staring at my screen and said, oh my goodness, I don't remember how to do any of this anymore. Conceptually, I knew what to do, but syntactically, not so much. So, but it got better. We did some group stuff and I was able to contribute, and then got the email about local Hack Day share. So I did I had surgery at the end of March. So I did half of it from my hospital bed. So, because, if you've got Wi-Fi, you can code, man.
Well, I don't even know what to say, because that's like the most impressive thing I've heard throughout all of INIT. That's awesome. So I don't think I've ever heard of anyone being part of an MLH event from a hospital bed. So
well, and it wouldn't have been possible without the remote aspect. So that part was great.
That's honestly just amazing. Oh my goodness. How? So was that just you alone? Did you do it with friends, or like was it just like a total individual? Did you hop on any
total individual effort
stuff like that?
I'm sorry?
Did you ever hop on like any of the like hacker hangouts or anything like that?
I mean, I was, through Discord, I was part of the chat and whatnot, and started to get to know the people. And frankly, like I said, because of the influence, Jack was really why I joined Lahaj Gang. Plus, you got to appreciate worshiping a stuffed shark.
And speaking of which, Jack, are you good to join in? All right, we'll bring you in.
Hello, friends.
Hello.
I thought I would have to join you for the after party. Michael, you're so amazing. Like, it always blows my mind to hear people, managing to come through that adversity. Getting through it, you're an amazing Lahaj Gang member. I'm really, really glad that workshop impacted you. You're awesome. And just thank you so much for joining us here at MLH INIT 2022. Hey, Ayush, you enjoying your after party so far?
I am. I literally got notified about this 15 minutes ago, and I was like, oh, I mean, okay, I'm of course ready to join the party.
I mean, it's okay. You're missing the important thing. You're missing your Blahaj. Where's it gone?
My Blahaj is actually, he's over there on the other side of the bed, so he's a little. But it's okay. I spend time with Blahaj every single night when I go to sleep. Just
Incredible.
me and him cuddling.
I'm so happy.
Ayush?
Well, Ayush, you got a question from the one and only Rico. Rico, so what's your question?
Like, I was about to tell Ayush to get me a Blahaj when he comes to India.
If I can fit it in the suitcase, it's all yours. But the Blahaj is, the Blahaj is a lot bigger than you really think. Like, when I bought, I'll never forget this, because like when I bought the Blahaj, my whole family was like, "What did you get from IKEA?" And I didn't know how to respond to it. I was like, I was like, well, we'll find out. Let me show you. And then wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
and so I showed the Blahaj, and then they were like, okay, you know what? That actually makes complete sense. And then I told them that it's like not even that expensive for like how big it is. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, my favorite story is how you probably know Dongle Boy or Will from MLH Fellowship. You know, the Fellowship friendo. Me and Will were in Copenhagen on holiday because we were bored and the flights were $50.
Wow.
So we flew over to Copenhagen. This is the weekend before the COVID pandemic. And I decided it'd be funny while we were in Copenhagen to cross countries to Sweden, because Sweden is where IKEA is originally from, just over the border. Very, very easy to get to. And I made Will buy a blahage, an authentic Swedish blahage at IKEA. We had authentic Swedish meatballs with this authentic Swedish blahage in an authentic IKEA Sweden cafe. It's exactly the same as any other IKEA cafe for anyone who's curious. But then we crossed the border back to Sweden, back to Denmark even, and then we realized, hey, we've got to get this thing home. How do we get it home? So long story short, me and Will got to the airport. We got him through security. We got him to the gate. And then this flight attendant from EasyJet came over and she's like, excuse me, you're going to have to check that bag. You've already got one bag. And I'm like, it's not a bag, it's a shark. There is no baggage limits for sharks. You say personal items, he's not a personal item, he's a blahage. He's not a bag, he's a shark. To which she looked at me fairly bemused, and we got away with it. So blahage got to fly all the way home.
Okay, looks like I can bring one for you then.
Yeah, so what Aisha's saying is, Rico, Aisha's going to get on a plane straight after the after party and fly over to India and provide you with blahage. And I think Michael has definitely earned one as well. Like, Michael beyond has earned a blahage at this point.
Okay, I'll think about it, definitely. Honestly, then I was always surprised about how they're like such a good price for like the size, because I've gotten some stuffed animals before and they're like $20, but like here's
we're not sponsored by IKEA, by the way. To be clear, we're not sponsored by IKEA. IKEA are not paying us to tell you to go to hackp.ac/blahage.
Dolphin and blahage always hang out together.
Incredible.
This one's a little smaller, but I put dolphin on top of blahage when I set up my bed.
Yeah. I'm curious, you've been around for a lot of INIT. What have you been up to this INIT? What have you been seeing? Have you seen any cool friends like Michael and Rico do anything cool?
Well, I did make a couple of good friends for sure. I think I was gonna join the pizza party today in the blahage chat, and then I forgot what happened. I think I had something literally at the exact same time, and I was like, well, darn, looks like I'll just have to order pizza. I should have ordered pizza for the after party. That's what I should have done. But
absolutely.
Besides that, it's been a lot of fun hosting some events here and there. Like I did No Light, which I think was on Monday.
That's exciting.
That was a lot of fun. I saw a lot of people type up Google for about an hour straight, and I was honestly so surprised at how many like submissions that were put in. So it's always nice to see like the activity during these week-long challenge events like Local Hack Day and INIT are always just a lot of fun to see how. And the leaderboard, talked to Adam for a little bit, and I don't think he slept enough, to be very honest with you.
Absolutely.
We'll see if he pulls off first place.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to jump off. I'm here if you need me at all, Ayush, but I've noticed we've got another friend who's around,
We do.
Isabel, who, if you look in private chat, got an awesome description. Isabel seems like a really cool person. Girls Who Hack is very, very much involved with it this year. So I'm going to hop off so you can go and talk to her, but give me a shout if you need me. And
sounds good. All right, bye-bye.
I have been loving your after party so far, Ayush. Congratulations for managing to live stream not on your bed. Very, very proud.
Thank you. Isabel, you good to join? All right. Well, we can't really hear you, but I think I did see your mouth say yes. So how you doing?
I'm good. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're
okay.
Good.
Awesome.
Off the stream.
Yeah,
so how's your experience been?
Yeah, I've been good. I'm over on the East Coast, so the time adjustment from PST is a little different, and it's been so cool. Like the community here has been amazing.
Well, yeah, Who Hack is from UVA, I'd assume, right?
Yes, but we're a different hacker community for like girls who hack specifically. We're actually like a subset of our school's Girls Who Code chapter. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you have your own hackathon then?
Sorry?
Do you have your own hackathon then?
Yeah, our hackathon Girls Who Hack is actually happening in the fall in November, and it's open to basically anybody. We'll do virtual, we'll do a little bit in person, but yeah, everybody's free to join. In November. So if you guys want to check out our guild, the Girls Who Hack Guild, we're here in it. We're hanging out. Yeah, and you can ask any questions that
pretty cool.
Come up there. Yeah.
Nice. So how's that been? Is this like your first year then for organizing a digital? Were you part of like last fall then, or is this like your first year?
Yeah, so my friend and I started Girls Who Hack last fall in 2020. And then so 2021, we're bringing it back for a second season. We worked with MLH. It was literally like so fun.
Digital hackathons are a lot different. I am curious to see what's going to happen like in fall with in-person hackathons, because I'm also looking forward to grabbing some free food again.
I've actually never been to an in-person, so like this.
You haven't been to one?
No, I started last year, and then like in the fall we were still kind of transitioning to virtual. So I've never been to an in-person hack. So this will be fun.
So Michael, I assume you're the only one here that's been to an in-person hackathon.
I guess
and
so.
me, I guess. They're a lot of fun. So I literally can't wait. Like all of us at the whole full-time like staff at MLH, when we heard that there's a possibility of having in-person hackathons, like everyone just kind of freaked out. We're like, it's happening, everyone calm down, stay calm, stay calm. Don't get too excited, because if it goes back to online, everyone's gonna cry. So just stay calm for a little bit. But we are looking forward to sleepless nights with a lot of coffee or Red Bull or something of the sort. Maybe some pretty cool ideas at the end of the day, which is
I love the energy in an in-person. It's just like totally unmatched to like anything we've done on virtual so far. So like I'm super excited.
The energy's there, just completely different. The best part, I think, at least for me, in an in-person hackathons, you can just walk around. Like in digital hackathons, there have been times like I'll go into like a community sometimes during a hackathon, be like, hello everyone, like how's everyone doing? Love to hear what's going on. And then like one person like says something, and I'm like, well, this is like, it makes sense because you have to just be so much more proactive about saying hi to everyone. And then but in person, if you walk up to someone, they can't really just ignore you. So they're like, all right, fine, I'll talk to you.
Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to both, but it'll be nice to like see the other side.
It is cool. Yeah, I think I'm curious to see what's gonna happen. Like, there's probably just gonna be there usually were like a lot of professional hackathons were generally online, like global ones, right? And then like colleges were like usually always in person. So it's also a lot of fun to travel around. So they'll generally, if you do in-person hackathons, like they'll pay for your travel, which is like, why would I not like get paid to travel somewhere and then learn like cool stuff from a lot of cool people? So whenever that starts up, I would highly recommend everyone here to even participate in some in-person hackathons. And then when they can, digital hackathons.
And in person, you get insomnia cookies.
That's right. Free food. Free food. That was literally like the best. I remember because like insomnia cookies are like kind of expensive too. It's like $1 or something per cookie. So as soon as I see like a whole rack of insomnia cookies, I go in there, I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and like no shame because
why not? Yeah. Free food and free swag. Literally. That's all it's about.
It's a lot of fun there. So what is everyone's plan here for like the rest of INIT?
Challenges. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I've been looking forward to the women
Challenges.
panel.
What the women and what?
And diversity panels that are coming. I think it was today or tomorrow. There's a couple panels that I've been really interested in. So those have been really cool to hop into.
I'm curious to see what panels there are. I haven't looked at the schedule too. Let's see what else there is for. There's explore a new language. Oh wait, that's probably I don't know why I thought that would be like an actual like language. Then I was like, oh, it's probably a coding language. That would make more sense. That's like the best part about when you like start CS. Sometimes people are like, yeah, I know like 3-4 languages, and you're like, wow, that's so cool. Like, can you speak them and whatnot? And they're like, no. Coding languages. And you're like, oh. I when I was like a kid, my dad told me that C# was a language, and I was like, oh, I wonder how you like speak C# and like what does that like how do you write that, and like how do you, because he was just like, the people, for me, he said people at work know C#, so I should know C# too, the language. And I was like, oh right, to communicate with them, if they're communicating in C#, then they probably like, my dad probably needs to know that too. And then I realized later on that that's just a coding language, and I was just being a little kid and being a little silly. But let's see. I don't see any. There was a surprise mini event that was today, which was pretty fun. There's hacker trivia tomorrow. That sounds like fun. What else is there? More hacker trivia. Oh, design a mascot or an outfit for the new season mascot. That seems like a lot of fun. Actually, I think, was it the one on Monday? On Monday, I'll be hosting that one, so I'm pretty excited. What am I eating? I'm just chewing gum. For once, I'm not eating lunch.
I'm amazed you're not eating lunch on stream. I did want to ask Isabel a quick question.
Yeah, for sure.
What inspired you to like start a guild? Because it's starting a guild or being involved with running a hackathon is like such a big deal, and you're helping like empower tons of people. And so like, what was kind of the thought process there, and how has your experience been? Have you had a good weekend or week even? It's been an entire week. It's not just a hackathon. And how is Girls Who Hack doing? Because obviously many of us are in different guilds. We don't see it. So what's going on in it?
We've been doing really well. It's our first time being a guild. We've also passed the baton to a new hackathon leader. So she's been the one who's been like really like going into being a guild leader and all that stuff. So she's been doing amazing. I've just kind of been like hanging out. But we've been doing like coffee chats, and it's just been like a nice place for other people to hang out and like collaborate together on like the mini challenges that we've been doing and stuff like that. So it's been really fun. I heard that our guild is on the leadership board in top 10, which has been really exciting to see. So yeah, represent.
I love it when we see like guilds come out of like nowhere and just kind of blow up and do like an amazing job. So like,
That's
it's
awesome.
such an important guild with like such an important mission. So like, seriously, thank you so much for kind of, running it and just doing amazing things. Like, you're amazing. And thank you. Ayush, we've got the one and only Michael here. And I feel like, Michael should be a motivational speaker in a way that, Ayush has tried to be a motivational speaker. He's tried to do it with limited success. You can see incredible phrases such as, yes, I am not on my bed. This is a wood background, seen earlier in the Twitch highlights, along with many other things. But Michael, you've talked about your story. You've talked about how it's impacted you. What would you say kind of the biggest thing you've learned out of that? We could learn a lot from you. You've been through a lot. So, what have you learned? What was the key takeaway?
Yeah, I would say I'll highlight two. One is stay positive. I'm a hopeless optimist by nature, so that was definitely helpful because the reality is life's going to throw stuff at you that you're not ready for. And you can't control that. But the one thing you can control to a large degree is how you react to it. And that's not to say, and not to trivialize what anybody's going through. That's not to say you're going to have bad days. I had that, there are days where the pain gets to be too much, or, where it just, when the doctors are throwing around words like amputation and death, you're going to have moments where, but you can't wallow in that. You've got to fight through it, find the humor where you can, and just keep fighting forward because life's worth living. The other thing I would say I learned, which doesn't come easily to me sometimes, is it's okay to ask for help. And I think that's applicable to all of you guys, even at your ages, because that applies whether you're talking about a health crisis or looking for a job or even a coding problem. And one of the things, because people want to help you, but one of the important things when you ask for help is to try and make it concrete, right? Like if I just ask open-ended, hey, Adam, want to build this project for me? He's probably going to say no. But if I say, hey, I'm getting this error message, can you help me with it? He's much more likely to say yes. Or job-wise, if I'm looking at a company in Toronto and I say, Jack, do you know anybody at this company? I've set that up for you. Now it's an easy, oh yeah, I do, as opposed to, hey, can you help me with my job search, which is really open-ended and nebulous, and people are going to be, oh God, now you've put me on the spot. So that, being willing to ask for help, because it's not always easy. After boot camp, I TA'd for 2 cohorts for my boot camp. And in the first one, it was interesting because it was all guys. Second one I did was all women except one guy. So very different vibes between the two, but both a lot of fun. But anyway, one of the guys in this group, he was pretty young, probably mid-20s. And one day he finally fessed up that it was really hard for him to ask for help because he had worked in 2 very high pressure sales environments. And he's like, asking for help was a sign of weakness. You did not do it. And I was kind of blown away because even though I was a lot older than him, I'd never worked anywhere like that. But then I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. So then as a TA, I'm like, okay, I got to pay a little closer attention to him and try and figure out what, because it was an online boot camp. So I could, we could screen share and all that good stuff. So I'm like, okay, I got to watch out for him. And he knew it was a weakness, but so it's difficult. For a lot of us, it's difficult to reach out that way, but people really do want to help.
Yeah, like absolutely. Like sometimes you just need a bit of help. Sometimes, you can't do it alone. It's why we have amazing organizations such as, the Hackathon community. We've got Girls Who Hack being represented on here. I think it's a great organization, which literally personifies that. There's people willing to help you here. There's people who want to help you here. Rico, you're a quite new member of the hackathon community. You're new to the Lahaj gang, but you've not been around as long as say Ayush has been around. So Ayush is actually really old, believe it or not. He's actually like 97. Just people don't realize. He's the oldest person on the stream. So Rico, what have you been learning? What has that process been like for someone who is newer to the community recently?
I have been working with Tiffany on learning Python, and I just did one challenge, the data visualization, and it was an amazing experience actually. And I'm now working on Lahaj Gang's Pride bot as well to improve it and add some more features to it.
That's really cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, like Ayush, have you ever tried to learn so many different skills as fast as possible, like data visualization, Python, and then a bot, and then every other challenge in a row? Have you ever done that? It's
Not
seriously
as fast
impressive.
as this. And it is just kind of crazy because if someone really put the work in for a whole week, they can really walk out and be like, oh, looks like I learned a lot of things. So, which is kind of what it's like at a hackathon. I know that there have been a lot of times at hackathons when I can walk out and be like, oh, sick. Looks like in this hackathon, I learned how to do web development, got pretty good at some other aspects. I think at one, I got better at machine learning while also doing some web development. And then for 2 days though, learning how to do web development and machine learning is already so much. And then I know at another one I got to do mobile development. I learned Flutter in 2 days or so, and that was really cool because it was always something that I was always scared of. It's mobile development because it just seems like a daunting task. And then once you really just put your time towards it, you're like, oh wait, this isn't as bad as it sounds. But for a whole week, you can really walk out and be like, oh, looks like I made a mobile app, a web app, data visualization, some machine learning, maybe a Spark AR filter, and the list just goes on, which is super, super cool and impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Isabel, have you ever seen someone go through the same process, or have you been through that process yourself where it's that really rapid learning? And I suspect you probably have done, being at hackathons and stuff. What would you say those kind of your tips are for people in that situation, whether they're new to hackathons or whether they're just trying to learn a bit more?
Yeah, we definitely see a lot of range of hackers, the really, really new beginners that kind of heard about this from somebody and then thought it would be fun to go, and then the super experienced ones. And I think the biggest thing to remind those new people is just to be open-minded and understand yourself and your growth learning process, because our hackathon's 48 hours. Obviously you're not going to learn everything about anything in 48 hours, so just taking it slow, using the resources that you have, and maybe finding other people that you can kind of hang out with and learn these new skills with. So just being easy on yourself, and just enjoying it.
Yeah, enjoying it's so important. We see teams really, really struggling, being I need to get every single point. I need to not sleep. I will get it. And it's sure, go ahead, do that. But don't do it if it's going to affect your health. Don't do it if it's going to make you tired and grumpy the entire week. The point of a NIT is not to nearly die midway through the week after getting 75 points. The point is to learn as much as possible. There's a reason the points don't mean prizes. The points literally are meaningless. So if anyone's watching this being I need to get every single point. What? Wait. Are we getting a Ayush?
It's all about clout. It's all about clout. So.
It's all, the clout. Okay. Well,
May I add something?
Wow. Yeah. What's up, Rico? Are you here for the clout?
No, I'm just aiming to get into the top 500 individual ranking.
That's such
it.
a good aim. You know, like
That's
setting
reasonable.
something like reasonable. I think honestly, I've seen you super active in the week, Rico, and I think you have a really, really good chance of getting in that top 500. You know, what are you like? You've been doing lots of challenges this week. You know, how have you been pacing yourself? How have you been looking after yourself? Because like, as far as I know, you're based out of India, right? And it's currently 5:30 a.m. in India, or like nearly 6 now, actually.
6
So,
a.m.
yeah, what's your schedule looking like during a knit? Like, how are you looking after
Yeah.
yourself?
Oh my god.
So this schedule or schedule is like eat dinner, visit leaderboard update session, and then go back to discussing challenges with friendos in the Bahaj Gang Discord. Doing it, and then once it's over at 6 a.m. somewhere, go to sleep and then start over again.
Wow, so
Okay.
it's like a whole day thing for you right now.
This is your entire
Yes.
day.
Anyways, since I used to work for US clients before, so I'm used to this pattern of events.
Yeah,
That
and
helped out.
yeah, I think Rico actually just raised a really, really good point. You know, locally, when we've got our hackathons that run in person, we're all in a room, we all probably have like a pretty similar background. We all, you know, we've been from the same place. You've got a similar education. You might have flown in from the same country, perhaps, but you know, the furthest I've ever gone was go from London, Ontario, down to like Atlanta, Georgia. So it's like, sure, it's a flight away, it's a different country, but like, the culture's not that different. It's different, but it's not like going to say somewhere like India. And I think over the last year of digital, it's been amazing to see the big difference between, you know, I remember when we went digital originally and, you know, it was so difficult to kind of adapt culturally because we did not know what it was a hackathon in India. They were a lot more competitive than say the ones in the UK, but they also, you know, they had different stakes attached. And it's been amazing to kind of get to go and see that. And I think it's very similar to like events that Isabel runs, you know, Girls Who Hack and, you know, just that entire ecosystem, you know, it's a very different type of event, but it serves a really, really important purpose. And now things are online. You know, it's amazing to see a chance for, in some cases, like in a knit, for those worlds to collide, for it to kind of become a mixing pot. And that has been really exciting over the last year. Isabel, I know you have to hop off, but is there anything kind of final you want to chat about or like just say on stream before I have to say bye?
Yeah, I mean, this has been so fun. If you guys have any like other questions about Girls Who Hack or like want to see what the community is like, feel free to join our guild or DM me or our guild leader or anything like that. But yeah, this has been so fun. I've appreciated the last point about innovation and like diversity has been so cool because that's what we strive for at Girls Who Hack. Like that's just where all the best ideas come from. So definitely like resonate with that. But yeah, thank you so much, and I will hop off and let you guys do your thing.
Thank you so much, Isabel.
Thank
Have
you
an
for
amazing
joining.
night.
Bye.
Yeah, this whole like diversity kind of, you know, viewpoint, making sure you have diverse viewpoints has been so important recently. Rico, do you want to say something?
Well, my aim is to attend a US event in person, even though if it means traveling 6,600 miles
Hey,
from India to US.
Huge respect. One that I know does do travel reimbursement. Anyone who doesn't know, in-person hackathons do sometimes reimburse your travel. Hack for North, it's not a US event, it is Canadian. I know they have once or twice paid for people's tickets from Australia, which blows my mind. Like flight from Australia to Canada to do a hackathon.
Crazy.
It's crazy. So like take a look at events like that where they're willing to reimburse your travel to go and lower that barrier to entry. Because, you know, you're probably not going to be going to a US event every weekend, but I'm really, really hopeful you can have at least that opportunity once.
Definitely
Look into that.
Please do.
I look into that. In 2-3 years' time, I hope to settle in US.
Absolutely. Actually, like, Ayush, you were going to say something, but actually, and can we jump back to me? Because, go ahead. You had interesting things.
Well, I was just going to say that there is, I think Tree Hacks has done like some crazy travel reimbursements. So look into that because I know I asked an organizer once about travel reimbursements and I was like, oh, like what's your limit? Because some people are like $30, $25 or whatever. And they're like, we don't have one.
Yeah.
And I think it took me about 5 minutes to be like, let me clarify that. What does that mean? Like you don't have one as in someone can just fly over or like you don't have one because everyone's just going to drive over. And he's like, no. Literally anyone, as long as they get in, because like I guess it's that hard to like get in if you're not like a student at Stanford, which I guess like makes sense. So yeah, definitely look into that one. It's also they have some really, really cool judges. So I always love looking at those because they have some like really impressive judges at some of these hackathons. I think one of them was like from Mythbusters, which was kind of sick, and another one was like from like Y Combinator, which was also really impressive. Like companies, I was like, oh my goodness, like those are what like your projects can like turn into startup companies in like weeks, which is kind of crazy to even think about.
Yeah, I mean, like Rico just mentioned the whole kind of context of wanting to kind of relocate to the US. A story which many people in the hacker community don't necessarily know is that it was hackathons which allowed me to relocate to Canada. I am originally from the UK, and I did a year abroad in Canada with my university. Exchange year, I think, is kind of a term often used in the US. And being able to attend lots of hackathons over that year meant I met lots of people. The networking opportunities, and I'm sure Michael can confirm, networking is hugely important to kind of do things. I feel like he'll have some words to talk about in just a second. But it meant I could meet these cool people. And I ultimately met a team at RBC, and they convinced me to do RBC Amplify. But I couldn't work in Canada. I didn't have a right to work in Canada or anything. I was on a student permit. So they let me intern in the UK. And then at the end of that kind of opportunity, I flew out to Canada for 5 nights, back to Toronto, where I now live. And we did an Ampex presentation. We presented what we'd made, all of that kind of stuff. And ultimately, one of the people I'd met at a hackathon in Canada came to me and was like, hey, we want to hire you over in Canada. And, they paid that relocation. They made it possible for me. They helped me through that process. And now, fingers crossed, in a couple of years, I'm going to have a second citizenship. So, like, it's crazy. Like how, just going to a hackathon can change your life. I would not live in Canada right now if I hadn't been to lots of hackathons. So I'd say, Rico, keep hoping, because I think, that dream could very possibly happen.
Absolutely.
I have stayed abroad for 15 years, 99 to 2013. That was all due to that was my dad. He was like deputed to Oman from 99 to 2013. So I have experience of staying abroad, so not a big deal.
That's amazing. It sounds like you're more experienced than I am, who flew out to Canada in a pandemic and nearly cried. So Rico, I really hope that does happen. But Michael, I just want to bounce back to you. I talked a bit about networking, and you in my mind are someone who probably has something to say about this. So what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, I think it is super important. I know it's also not always easy for people to do. It's not easy for me to do. It's, especially in-person stuff. If once I get to know folks, it's hard to get me to shut up. But if I walk into a room and everybody already kind of knows each other and I don't know anybody, it can be difficult to get going. It's actually one of the things I've found some of the online networking during COVID to be some of the best I've ever had. Here I'm based in New Hampshire here in the States. And we have a group called the New Hampshire Tech Alliance, and they had done a monthly in-person meetup, networking event. They moved that online. But along the way, they also run a Women in Tech breakfast every month. And they'd always said, but despite the title, it's not just for women. And so one morning, but it was 7:30 in the morning and you got to get there and all that. And then they were having one that it was just a bunch of roundtable discussions. So it sounded really interesting. And I'm like, well, 7:30 is not so bad when I can do it from my couch.
True.
So I hopped in and I was I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous at first because I was literally the only guy in there except one of the organizers. But everybody, and I know why there are groups like that. So I didn't want to be stepping on anyone's toes or anything like that, but everybody was super welcoming. We had some great discussions. And one was on branding yourself. And so the discussion was, you had to come up with like 4 words to describe yourself. And so the first one I threw out was passionate, because I love to throw myself into stuff, whether it's my extracurricular activities or work. If I work for a company, I want to be passionate about what they do. And one of the women at the table says, I love that word, but she's like, do you think there would, and she's asking all of us, do you think there's an issue for a woman using that in a setting like LinkedIn? And as soon as she said it, I was like, oh my God, I can totally see. I never in a million years would have occurred to me, but I totally get where she's coming from. So I found it a really interesting, valuable experience. And then the funny part was for about 2 hours afterwards, my phone just blew up with LinkedIn requests and messages and offers to help. There was a woman offering to help me with my LinkedIn profile. And it was just, it was one of the best networking events I've ever been to. And it was sort of a spur of the moment and started out with me feeling pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's sometimes those situations you're going in, you're a bit uncomfortable. I feel like the really interesting thing to me is it links to diversity, right? You know, you've got that diversity of thought. It's helping you realize like, hey, actually, you know, what I thought, well, it's not wrong. It's not necessarily the full picture. And I feel like, you know, opportunities where you can network with people in a different kind of environment to what you'd normally be in a different kind of setting, whether it's, you know, online or in person, or even just like a different group of people than you would normally talk to, can be really, really valuable. And Ayush, you know, you're involved with MLH pretty heavily. You go to lots of different hackathons. You're in lots of different settings. You've been in person, you've been virtual, you've been at lots of different types of hackathons as well. And now, you know, with the transition to digital, you know, we've all like done every single region at this point pretty much. You know, back in the past when we're all in person, me being a European and a North American coach was weird, and now it's the norm. And so, you know, you've seen this networking kind of context. What are your kind of key takeaways from it?
So networking, I think, is definitely something that I was also extremely nervous about when I started, I guess, networking. At this point, I think for me, I just think about it as a way for just making friends. So it's always kind of nice to, at the first, like, just try to think about this as a way, as like a learning experience, right? You know, growth is always nice, and putting yourself in uncomfortable situations will like force you to grow no matter what, right? So that's always one thing that I like to keep in mind. Is like, hey, I know this is really uncomfortable, but like if you're in an uncomfortable situation, that's how you grow. If you're comfortable, you're probably not like growing as much. And more importantly, you can probably like just learn so much from talking to others. I think sometimes I'm definitely like an introvert, and it takes a lot of like energy out of me when I go somewhere like a social event and I'm like, okay, I have to talk to people and I have to like show this face and like smile and whatnot. And I'm like not the best at doing stuff like that. Like if I'm like in a down mood, then it's like somewhat hard for me to like show that in front of like so many people. And it's like always a little bit stressful for me. But then I realized that at the same time, worst case, I'm just going to learn a lot from these people. Hopefully I can make some new friends and hang out with them at some time. And, you know, and that's usually my thought process. Like, what's wrong with like making new friends, right? If that's like a thought process instead of like, oh, I'm doing this as like networking, then maybe, you know, you can have more fun with it. It's kind of like what business students say when they're going to parties and they say they're networking, but they're going to a party. But maybe, you know, a lot of them actually do network there, right? So they can have fun at a party and also like network. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's just kind of look at this from a different perspective, and that helps out a lot for just putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation.
I mean, my background's radio. Like I've been there, I've done that. It's an entirely different skill set, but then the people you meet there are so useful years down the line because you realize, hey, actually, you know, they know something I don't, and, you know, they're not where I am right now, and let's go talk to them, because these people I met at a party a couple of years ago are now some of the most useful people I can talk to get this solved. Rico, you had something to say during that, I think. You kind of were nodding quite a bit. I'm curious to see what you had to say.
I'm going to turn my lights on.
Go for it.
Okay, so one thing which happened to me after the like registering for INIT was making friends, like you, Tiffany, Adam, and it's like what Michael said, networking is very important these days, so that you can, like, if you don't know what to do, you can ask your friends about it regarding a career or field stream. So that's like, and I also would like to give shout out to Ryan and Mary for handling the INIT event very nicely.
Yeah, a huge shout out to Ryan and Mary. Again, like I've already said it, but, you know, please give them a thank you in a INIT chat. You know, it's not like, you know, they are forced, like, with a cattle prod to go and run an event such as INIT. They choose to run it. You know, INIT didn't exist last year, so it's brand new because people want to run it. People want to provide opportunities. And so please, like, if you see them around, give them a big thank you. These weeks are incredibly stressful for them all. And giving them that thank you would be helpful. On the topic of INIT, though, please make sure if you haven't already, you go check in. I'm throwing the link in Twitch chat right now. If you don't check in, you can't earn points to your guild. And considering we have 3 Blahaj gangers on stream right now, I will be very sad if we're not earning points for the guild. Like, come on, friends. But Ayush, we pretty much hit time. I guess we'll go off with the closing ceremony. The closing for Share Party in just a second. But before we do, just anything you want to wrap up with, because you have the big brain insights.
I think it's definitely say thank you to Ryan and Mary for me, please too, because I know I will eventually, and because they put a lot of work into this, and it's awesome to just see people that do work and it doesn't really feel like work for them. That's like the best part about the community at MLH is that everyone that's like part of this community that's hosting or working is just having fun. And what else could you really ask for at an event other than having fun?
Yeah.
So I hope you all also had fun at an event.
Absolutely. A big thank you to every one of you. I'm going to leave last words. Rico, anything you want to say?
I just would like to say that even I had, like right now, getting inspired by the organizers. I would like to host my own hackathon someday.
Woo!
You totally
For
can.
MLH.
You
definitely
should.
do. 100%.
Yeah, you definitely should do
100%.
it. I remember, the team are here to support you during it. I did Hack Quarantine like a year and a half ago now. Highly recommend. It's an awesome experience. You'll have an amazing, amazing time. Aaron, who is a fellow hackathon organizer, is in chat right now saying do it. So yeah, you should totally do it, Rico. Michael, any final words from you before we have to go in for off-air? Your bat way, I guess.
Yeah, I'll just say, because we've talked a lot about, the return of in-person hackathons and having done one, but it's really intense. And one of the things I actually really like about the sort of week-long digital, and it gets back to what Rico was saying about, his schedule, you can pace yourself. Yeah. Like you literally don't have to kill yourself to have a great hackathon experience. Whereas the in-person ones, you're going to get 2 hours of sleep on an air mattress if you're lucky. And because that's just, it's the nature of the time crunch. But here, because you can take a day off, you can take 2 days off if you want to, and still come out with some great projects, still learn a lot. So I really like that format.
Yeah, it's awesome. The kind of slightly slower pace of the digital hackathon is just amazing. Are you just going to leave you with the final words? Give me something to say, and then guess we'll head off air.
Woo! Let's go in it.
That is exactly the most Ayush answer I'd ever expect. Thank you to our guests, Michael and Rico, for going on stream. Super appreciated. Thank you for our patience with this last minute slight schedule change. And have a great rest of the day, friends. Have a great night. And remember, check in if you haven't already. The link is in chat. I'll see you at some point, and I'm sure we will all see you around in a bit. So have a great rest of your day, friends. And goodbye to each and every one of you.
Bye.